But it's House Representative Steve, and he stated, these are his words. Don't hate me for it. These are his words. It's incredibly tone deaf of Speaker Pelosi to continue using this crisis to push these radical socialist ideas that have been consistently rejected. He continues on to say, what we should be focused on is responsibly implementing the relief packages we passed to get trillions of dollars directly into the hands of families and businesses so the American people have jobs and economy to come back to when we finally reopen. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I will be discussing a popular question out there right now, and that's simply, will there be another stimulus check? So in this discussion, I will be sharing exactly what my thoughts are and how I arrived to those thoughts on will there be another stimulus check or not. But before I get into that, I just want to send a very heartfelt thank you to you all for helping me for the first time in any video that I posted to get beyond 1,000 views. So thank you all. I really appreciate that, and I never thought I would cross over 1,000 views so soon, especially being a small channel with approximately 90 subscribers. So thank you all so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate every like, every dislike, and every comment. It all helps me to create even better content. So definitely keep engaged, and I'm going to give my little spiel here. If you enjoy the content on this channel, definitely hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you would like to be notified when I upload another video. So let's get back to the content of this particular video. So do I think that there will be another stimulus check? Unfortunately, as much as I want to say yes, I really want there to be another one. I think the reality of the situation is that most likely there won't be another stimulus check. And the reason why I feel this way is just looking at everything that's going on in the country. We're beginning to see states and local areas in states begin to open up and open up slowly. So the Trump administration is really pushing to get Americans back to work. And in order to get Americans back to work, that's going to happen through opening the country strategically. Now, do I personally believe right now is the time to go ahead and start opening the country? Yes and no. I would say yes for certain areas, right? So those areas that never had a huge spike in cases and it's really controlled, sure. But right now, in areas that the death toll is still rising, and we're still seeing these little pockets still push to really reopen the state. And I think in Georgia specifically, they're opening pretty aggressively. So right now, it's a balancing act, and it's a tough decision for the administration to make. And I will say it's really tough, especially when families need to have a paycheck and you have businesses that are moving into bankruptcy. J. Crew just announced that they're going into bankruptcy, and yes, they were in trouble prior to the pandemic, but this is the pandemic and a situation that they could not afford right now. I also have seen an article that 24-hour fitness may be in discussions about a bankruptcy. I haven't followed up on that yet, but discussions were rumored to be had on bankruptcy. So we'll see what happens. And it's a really tough situation to keep the country closed down. Lives are definitely more important than money, but at the same time, we don't want to see the country fall apart. So with that, I don't think there will be another stimulus check, but I do have an article from The Hill. And one thing that we aren't hearing a lot of are comments from the Republican side. So this article was published on April 29th. So I went ahead and I did some research to see what the Republican side was saying, because the stimulus proposals that the news is presenting to people, at least from what I am seeing, I've seen the positives. I've seen this great stimulus package that's going to give you $2,000 per month, or a one-time payment of $2,000, and then $1,000 per month on a debit card. And then there's another one that I don't exactly remember right now. I think it's the one canceling rent and mortgages, which no wonder I didn't remember that one, because I don't agree with that one at all, simply because it seems to punish the landlords for owning property, which that shouldn't be the case. It's great for renters, but landlords, I don't think they should be punished per se. If you have time, go ahead and definitely read that bill. It was really, really over the top, very interesting to read. But let's go into what some of the Republican lawmakers in the House have said in regards to a lot of the proposals that are coming forth from the Democratic side. And keep in mind that a lot of the proposals are Democratic in nature and sponsored and co-sponsored by Democrats. And I haven't heard anything from the House or from the Senate Republicans, which these proposals would have to pass in order to get to the president to sign into law. So the first person I want to talk about is Steve Scalise, and I believe that's how you say his last name. I have no idea, to be honest, but hopefully I'm not butchering his name. But it's House Representative Steve, and he stated, these are his words. Don't hate me for it. These are his words. It's incredibly tone deaf of Speaker Pelosi to continue using this crisis to push these radical socialist ideas that have been consistently rejected. He continues on to say, what we should be focused on is responsibly implementing the relief packages we passed to get trillions of dollars directly into the hands of families and businesses so the American people have jobs and economy to come back to when we finally reopen. So that's a lot right there. But as you can see, just looking at his words and having a bipartisan view on it, he really is not clearly completely against an additional stimulus check and getting Americans onto a monthly payment while we're going through this pandemic. And to his point, I will say they did offer a package that helped to boost the unemployment benefits by, I believe it was $600, an extra $600 per month for those individuals. There are a lot of issues happening with the unemployment, especially when it comes to state websites that aren't working. I think just up to last week, there were still some states' websites that weren't able to process the applications. So there's a whole lot of issues going on there. He does have his point. Do you necessarily agree or disagree? I'll leave that to you, but this is something that's coming from the Republican side. Another Republican representative, Jim Banks, he basically echoed Steve up above and stated that congressional Democrats already told us they're taking advantage of a crisis to turn America into a socialist country. They admitted this pandemic is a tremendous opportunity to restructure things to fit their vision. Ooh, that one is that one is a lot. Oh, I'll leave that one right there. I'm not going to offer much, but again, it definitely is a strong negative towards continuing with some sort of stimulus check payment, and it seems more along the lines of a continuous payment for months. And that's exactly what's being proposed. And here's another one. This will be the final one that I share today in this video. It's from Representative Matt Gaetz. He stated, the Speaker's comments reaffirm the Republicans are the party of working Americans while Democrats prefer diminished productivity, hundreds of millions for illegal aliens, upgrades to the Kennedy Center, and bailouts for states that made bad decisions before COVID-19 ever escaped the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Yeah, that one is self-explanatory. So basically, I read all of those, not to get into any politics, because if you're a Republican, you're a Republican. If you're a Democrat, you're a Democrat. If you're an independent, you're an independent. It doesn't matter to me. But those were only 3 quotes. I would like to hear from more of them. But since I can't hear from a lot of them, the silence is kind of deafening, definitely. So we'll just have to wait and see. At this point, do I think there will be another stimulus check or a monthly stimulus check or debit card with that'll be loaded with $1,000 per month for every American? And I don't like it's a good idea. Honestly, it really is. But the logistics involved in doing something like that, providing a debit card for every American, where are they going to print all of these debit cards? Take a look at the stimulus checks that are going out now. It's approximately a 5 month delay. Just depends on how much money you make, right? Because it has to be scheduled based on your income level to get those physical checks out to people. Whereas a good lump sum of those checks or the stimulus payment has been deposited into people's bank accounts. So even with that, it's still taking months to get those physical checks out to people. And then there's a proposal to get debit cards out to people. All of the logistics involved in creating a debit card and getting the system to work and making sure it can communicate with the necessary devices and making sure that it's on a network that's widely accepted by retailers. It's a lot to get that up and running. And then to mail it to everybody. I don't. Good idea. I understand the point of it because a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot because I really don't know, but there are definitely people out there who do not have access to a checking account. So it's to really help them to be able to receive a payment, a consistent payment, without having to wait have huge delays in checks being mailed out. But I digress. So guys, that's all I have for this video. If you did enjoy the video and if you did make it all the way to the end, first of all, thank you. Secondly, if you haven't liked the video, definitely go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave a comment down below. That helps a whole lot. And I do like to see that people are engaged. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all.